Hello and welcome everyone on this official platform of Legacy IS Academy. What if I told you a state's most feared intelligence agency is using a terrorist group to crush its own citizens? Ji haan. As you can see here, the headlines Terror or Tactics. The shocking alliance between Pakistan ISI and ISIS in Baluchistan revealed. So, as you can see here in the headlines of the newspaper, is Pakistan's ISI using ISIS to threaten Balochistan activists? What if peaceful human rights activists, not militants, they are being hunted, silenced, and branded as enemies of religion? So this is not the plot of dark geopolitical thriller. This is happening right now in Baluchistan, which is a province of Pakistan. So today we uncover a chilling story, one where ISIS, the world's most notorious terror group, is allegedly being weaponized by Pakistan's ISI to target the peaceful Baloch activists, and among them is Dr. Mehrang Baluch. Ji haan, a globally recognized voice of justice. Now she is now labeled as kafir. इनको काफिर कह रहे हैं, terrorist outfit. She is now labeled as a kafir by the terrorist manifesto and thrown behind the bars. जी हाँ, as you can see here, this is issued by ISIS. Now, but why? Why would a state turn to terrorists to suppress its own people? जी हाँ, पाकिस्तान ऐसा क्यों कर रहा है? अपने ही लोगों को टेररिस्ट के थ्रू खत्म करवाने की कोशिश. How deep does this alliance go? And what does it mean for the future of global security, human rights, democracy? So stay with me as we break down the untold side of Baluchistan with all the names, each and everything here. Okay, so this is a story that the world must hear. So what is happening in Baluchistan? तो सबसे पहले हम बलूचिस्तान की बात करें तो क्या चल रहा है बलूचिस्तान में? Baluchistan, a province in Pakistan, has been facing a human rights crisis. जी हाँ, this province is facing a human rights crisis. That is why Baloch activists, they are peacefully protesting for their rights, for justice, for missing persons. On the other hand, Pakistan क्या कर रहा है? Pakistan spy agency, that is ISI, Inter Services Intelligence. Now ISI is accused of targeting these activists. Now who is being targeted? अब सबसे पहले हम बात करेंगे who is being targeted. तो उसमें सबसे पहला नाम आता है इन एक्टिविस्ट का, that is Dr. Mehrang Baluch. She is a well-known human rights activist and she is one of the main targets of ISIS. Now अभी ISIS ने एक बुक रिलीज की है. So she was named in a booklet which is released by a terrorist group. As you can see here, this book is released by ISIS. अब ये कहा जा रहा है she was named in a booklet which is released by a terrorist group ISIS, and this booklet calls her as kafir. Kafir means non-believer. And this booklet also attacks the other activists. As you can see here on the cover page of the booklet, other activists. Okay. Now, the booklet cover shows the other activists. Other activists कौन है? Like Manzoor Pashtun. As you can see here, this is the image of Manzoor Pashtun. अब Manzoor Pashtun कौन है? Manzoor Pashtun is a leader of Pashtun Tahaffuz movement. He is a leader of Pashtun Tahaffuz movement. जी हाँ, he is a leader of Pashtun Tahaffuz movement. Now, another पर्सनैलिटी जिनका फोटो रिलीज किया है बुकलेट पे, दैट इज बशीर जेब। जी हां, इनका नाम है बशीर जेब। अब बशीर जेब कौन है? सो लेट्स ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड बशीर जेब। ही इज अ लीडर ऑफ बलूच लिबरेशन आर्मी। जी हां, ये किसके लीडर है? ही इज अ लीडर ऑफ BLA, दैट इज बलोच लिबरेशन आर्मी। देन बुकलेट पर शो किया गया है फेसलेस विमेन। नाउ दिस फेसलेस विमेन इज बिलीव टू बी डॉक्टर मेहरांग। Okay, it is believed to be Dr. Mehra. Now, what is ISIS saying and what are they doing? अब ISIS का इस पर क्या कहना है? Recently, ISIS declared a war on Baluch militant group. जी हाँ, ISIS ने recently war declare किया किस पर? Baluch militant group. Baluch militant group कौन से हैं? Like Baluchistan Liberation Army, this is BLA, Baluchistan Liberation Army. Another group is BLF, Baluchistan Liberation Front, है ना? Another group is BLF, Baluchistan Liberation Front. But they are also targeting the peaceful civilians as well as activists, not just militants. So ISIS accuses these activists of being against Islam. कि ये सारे activists, they are against the Islam, and they had links and they link them to the militant groups. अब हाउ इज ISI इन्वॉल्व? अब यहां पर ISI कैसे इन्वॉल्व हो सकती है? तो आइए समझते हैं इस चीज को। अब बलूच एक्टिविस्ट, इन्होंने काफी सारे मीडिया चैनल्स को यह बताया दैट ISIS इज स्प्रेडिंग द सेम नैरेटिव एज ISI, है ना? ISIS वही सेम नैरेटिव्स को स्प्रेड कर रहा है जो ISI स्प्रेड कर रहे हैं। Baloch activists, they are just soft faces of militants. Baloch activists कौन है? They are just soft faces of militants. Now, activist also claims that ISI क्या चाहता है? ISI, which is the intelligence agency of Pakistan, they want to silence the peaceful protest. वो इस protest को पूरी तरीके से बंद कराना चाहते हैं, है ना? Since international criticism is also growing, and they are now using ISIS to terrorize the activists. Now, this helps the Pakistani state, which is hiding behind the banned group, as well as they are also avoiding the blame. कि इन सभी चीजों के पीछे कौन है? इन सभी चीजों के पीछे पाकिस्तान स्टेट है, पाकिस्तान की मिलिट्री है, पाकिस्तान की इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसी है ना? नाउ, अब कुछ इवेंट्स मैं आपको बता दूं। On 22nd March last year, 22nd March 2024, Dr. Mehrang Baluch was arrested during a peaceful protest. जी हाँ, Dr. Mehrang Baluch, she was arrested during a peaceful protest. Now, after that, what happened? On 29th March 2024, a suicide bomber from ISIS, that is Khorasan. जी हाँ, 29th March 2024, ISIS K, that is Khorasan, है ना? So a suicide bomber from ISIS K attacked a rally in Mashtoong, Baluchistan. उसने रैली पर अटैक किया, सुसाइड बॉम्बर ने, who belong to ISIS Khorasan, attacked in Mashtoong region of Baluchistan. अब इस रैली को कौन कर रहा था? द रैली वॉज हेल्ड बाय सरदार अख्तर मेंगल। जी हां, दिस रैली वॉज हेल्ड बाय सरदार अख्तर मेंगल। नाउ, सरदार अख्तर मेंगल ऑफ बलूचिस्तान नेशनल पार्टी, ये किस पार्टी के हैं? बलूचिस्तान नेशनल पार्टी। नाउ, व्हाई दे वर प्रोटेस्टिंग, व्हाई दे वर रैलिंग? अब ये प्रोटेस्ट क्यों चल रहा था? द प्रोटेस्ट वॉज अगेंस्ट द अरेस्ट ऑफ डॉक्टर मेहरांग बलूच एज वेल एज अदर्स। Thankfully, no one was killed in the blast. इस blast में कोई भी नहीं मारा गया. There are other names also, other Baluch activists like Bibarg Baluch, Bibu Baluch, then Gulzadi Baluch and Shazi Baluch. Different activists are there. Now, other Baluch activist leaders who are currently in prison. ये अभी कहां पर है? ये अभी जेल में, prison में है. तो कहा जा रहा है even Mehrang Baluch and other, their father has been forcefully disappeared to pressure the activists to surrender. मेहरांग बलूच के फादर को फोर्सफुली डिसअपियर कर दिया गया ताकि इन बलूच एक्टिविस्ट के ऊपर प्रेशर लाया जाए और वो सरेंडर कर दें. समझ में आ रहा है? अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस, दिस इज द बुक विच इज रिलीज्ड बाय द आईएसआईएस. आईएसआईएस ने ये 117 पेजेस की बुकलेट रिलीज की. Now, what is there in 117 page of ISIS booklet? Now, ISIS claim that these activists are against Islam. These activists are against Islam. ये जितने भी activists हैं, they are against Islam. Now, they show the leaders of right movements and militants together. They also pushes the same anti-activist propaganda also, which was previously spread by ISI. Now, why is this a big deal? ये इतनी बड़ी डील कैसे है ना? Why is this considered as a big deal? So let me tell you, there is one committee, Baluchistan Yak-Jeti Committee. Now this Baluchistan Yak-Jeti Committee, they had to cancel the rallies due to ISIS threat. इन्होंने अपनी रैलीज को कैंसिल किया क्योंकि आईएसआईएस के थ्रेट काफी ज्यादा आ रहे थे. नाउ एक्टिविस्ट सेज दैट देयर लाइव्स आर इन रियल डेंजर एंड द पाकिस्तानी स्टेट uses the fake allegation. Pakistani state arrest these activists using anti-terror laws. Pakistani state also harass their families. They also spread fear to crush the peaceful protest. Now, what can be the international impact? अब इसका international impact क्या हो सकता है? Now, Pakistan is already under the global scrutiny for supporting the terror, especially after the Pahalgam massacre of tourists in India. Now, these new allegations about ISI links as well as ISIS, who are targeting the Baluch activists, they can have serious as well as international impact. अब इन सभी चीजों के काफी ज्यादा impact हो सकते हैं. Now, what can be the possible consequences? So, let's try to understand the possible consequences. First consequence can be like increased international scrutiny. जी हाँ, increased international scrutiny on Pakistan. Now, how scrutiny on Pakistan? There are allegations of ISI that ISI is using ISIS will further tarnish Pakistan image globally, especially at a time when Pakistan is already under the pressure from FATF, that is Financial Action Task Force, over the terror financing. Then India as well as other countries already accuse Pakistan for sponsoring the terrorism. Now, it could also lead to more sanctions or blacklisting by the global bodies. Pakistan को blacklist भी किया जा सकता है. It can also cut in foreign aid, especially from the Western nations. Then apart from this, another impact could be diplomatic fallout. Now diplomatic fallout. Now how diplomatic fallout? Countries like India, United States of America, European Union, and even the Gulf states may raise this issue at the United Nations or Organization of Islamic Countries as well as other international forums. Now, Pakistan attempts to deny involvement. It may fall flat due to the evidence like the ISIS booklet, which echoing the ISI narratives. Then apart from this, rising domestic unrest. जी हाँ, rising domestic unrest. Where? In Baluchistan. Domestic unrest in Baluchistan. Now, how this strategy may backfire domestically. Baluch civilians as well as activists, they could grow more radicalized if peaceful avenues are crushed. It could also lead to increased insurgency as well as violence in Baluchistan. It can further alienate the Baluch youth. है ना? It can push them towards the militancy rather than the peaceful protest. Then apart from this, this is going to weaken the peaceful movement. अब इससे जो peaceful movement है वो weak हो जाएगा. Weakening the peaceful movements. Weakening the peaceful movements. Now, weakening of peaceful movements, how? Groups like Baluch Yakjeti Committee, they may be forced underground. Peaceful activists like Dr. Maharang Baluch, she risks being silenced or harmed. It will weaken the civil society space in Pakistan and also embolden the deep state. Then, apart from this, regional instability, ji haan, it can also create regional instability. Now, how it can create regional instability? The most important corridor, CPEC, ji haan, violence spilling from the Baluchistan, it could also destabilize the parts of Iran. अब ईरान में भी तो बलूच पॉपुलेशन है ना, as you can see here, neighbor Iran, this province is called as Sistan and Baluchistan, है ना, जहां पे बलूच population रहती है. So it can destabilize the parts of Iran with its own Baluch population. And after CPEC, that is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor project, which are already the targets of Baluch insurgent groups. So in this way, China may pressure the Pakistan to restore the stability, possibly creating a friction between Beijing as well as Islamabad. Then apart from this, there are legal and human rights repercussions. Legal and human rights repercussions. Legal and human rights repercussions. How? So human rights groups like Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, etc. and etc., they may launch French campaigns. Now, Pakistan could face the cases in international courts for the enforced disappearances as well as state-backed terrorism. Then apart from this, backlash within Pakistan. Now, backlash within Pakistan, how? So, civil society, students and journalists, they may push back against ISI's increasing control. It could lead to more protest as well as exposure of the deep state tactics. However, it may also trigger more repression as well as censorship. Then there can be fuel for global counter-terrorism campaign. Fuel for global counter-terrorism. Counter-terrorism campaign. Now how? See, if the links between ISI and ISIS become clearer, then countries fighting terrorism like United States, they may expand the drone operations or covert operation in Pakistan. Then they may impose counter-terror or cooperation conditions on aid or as well as trade. So overall, the cheezein hai, the use of ISIS to target the peaceful Baluch activists, it could severely damage the Pakistan credibility. It could isolate it diplomatically, as well as it could also destabilize its own internal security while further endangering the lives of the innocent civilian in Balochistan region. So overall, if you see what we are witnessing in Balochistan, it's not just a regional crackdown. It is a global warning actually. When state uses terrorism as a tool and when they turn peaceful voices into the targets, when they silence truth by hiding behind the shadows of banned groups like ISIS, so they do not just destroy lives, they destroy the moral fabric of democracy itself. That is why Dr. Maharang Baluch, who is a Baluch activist, there are other activists also. The Dr. Maharang Baluch ho gaye, then B. Barg Baluch, then Gulzadi, Shaji. They are not militants. They are the faces of resistance, dignity, courage, and their only weapon is their voice. And now, even that is under threat. So today it is Baluchistan. Tomorrow it could be anywhere. So don't scroll anyway. Don't scroll away and do not forget their names. share their stories, raise your voice. If you believe in justice, in truth, in the right to protest without fear, this is your right too. Like, comment, share, and subscribe this channel, Legacy IS Academy. Let the world know the silence is breaking and we are watching. Thank you so much.